Good morning and welcome to Coffee at the Manor, the bestest place to start your day with all the news, reviews and weirdness that you never knew you needed to know. Today I've got a fine selection of delightfulness. We're going to take you a little trip down some rabbit holes, to which we will find a man named Isaac Newton. We will find Atlantis, apparently, and also we're going to find a crazy mother ducker. So do please stay tuned for today's episode of Coffee at the Manor. Good day, bonsoir, konnichiwa, ni hao. How are you? I hope you are well. A happy Thursday, in fact, to you and whoever else is there. Good morning to you, Lady Venus. How are you? Pleasure to see you as always. And again, happy Thursday. We're about to launch into the weekend here. I think we're going to survive it. I think we've made it, people. The first full week of other things going on. So how the devil are you? I'm actually currently doing my piercing thing. Here's a little bit of extra news, and I'm taking notes. Do you want to see my delightful notes? Here are my wonderful notes. I made pictures. I have included pictures. I'm doing all the work to get my I don't know, advanced diploma in piercing. There you go, just for fun. You know, you never know. So good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Other news, of course, today that I'd like you to know about is that, of course, I'm set up the new channel. So Coffee at the Manor over there at YouTube. You can see the little jibber jabber here. That is now a thing. I have a whole subscriber, myself, over there. So do please, at some point, if you wouldn't mind, go and subscribe yourself over there, where I'm going to be moving all the Coffee of the Manor stuff. And then I'm just going to put the highlights once a week onto the main Lord Lucan channel, just to kind of keep things, numbers and stats and things and YouTube things. So do please do that. I'll, of course, remind you, hopefully at some point, if I remember to do so during the thing. So today, my beautiful people, we're going on a bit of a rabbit hole of where we started and ended this morning when I do my little research, shall we say. So the first port of call was a delightful headline over in Canada. Now, I do apparently have quite a few watchers in Canada. Hello, bonjour to you over in Canada. And it's about, see, I can do Canadian too. Amazing. And it is about an office burglar who left behind a valuable clue, a photocopy of his own face. Yes, indeed. It is this little fella here. Here it is. Delight. What a delight over in Canada. In fact, in most of the news today will come sort of from Canada. So we're having a bit of a theme in a way. So grab your maples and we go. So here we are. That clearly is not the man. For one, there is a particular fashion item this man is missing, which you will discover momentarily. So in August 2019, this is not the newest story. Gary, of course, Gary Samuel Lamb broke into a commercial property in Toronto. I bet it was a Walmart or something, wasn't it? You know, it's not going to be a good shop, is it? Gary's not going to be getting in the good shops. He wasn't exactly discreet. Midway through the break and enter. Hello. Oh, my cat's talking to me now. Hello. Are you all right? Yeah, good, lovely. The 54-year-old stopped to eat some food, leaving scraps behind. What? Oh, what a cat! Oh, what a bounder! I can't believe it, leaving scraps of food behind. Terrible. Then he left an even bigger clue. It sounds like he's about to take a number two, isn't he? He left an even bigger clue. He headed over to the office printer and made a photocopy of his face. So intelligent criminal, this one. This is what they need, isn't it? The criminal fraternity, more people like that to distract them from the real crimes going on. Toronto police then released a copy featuring Lamb's blurry visage and his wide-brimmed fedora. Oh yes, he came with fedora. And in fact, I will show you said man. I had to go find this man somewhere else because this doesn't have a picture. I will show you said man, and it does look mighty familiar. To the public, and the fugitive was identified and arrested on a separate matter later that month, which was also a glorious crime that he is allegedly guilty of. On the bright side, Lamb now has a much clearer portrait, his mugshot. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, well done. Great joke there, Erica Lenti. Good job. So now let's find out a bit more, shall we? So I had to find out more. So I popped over to this delightful place over here, which always pops up adverts if you leave it long enough. And here he is. Look. Now, who's this reminds you of, ladies and gentlemen? If this, maybe this was before the Jasmine thing. He was getting a bit desperate, and so decided, a bit of, casual robbery might be on the cards instead. So here is our man, Gary. Well done, Gary. Yes, and there's a bit more, which I do love. He's not just a man who will photocopy and run. Oh, no. He is more to it. So a man in Canada may just as well go as the most helpful felon in history after leaving a photocopy of his face in a property he broke into. Fox News, isn't that like a proper channel? Proper News reported that Gary allegedly broke into a commercial property in Toronto on August 23rd. While there, the 54-year-old ate some food and made and inexplicably made a photocopy of his face, which he left behind for the property owners to find. So, I mean, that's got to be intentional. Sure. Are we that silly? Now, that might be the end of it. It gives us a little treat at the end, which says, down here, this isn't the first time that he was arrested. Now, I have found his other crime, and you will be delighted to know that this man is a master of robbery. His other robbery, he tried to rob another place, and he had an amazing disguise. Let me show you the disguise. Come on, there he is. There's Gary. Hello, Gary, in his little plastic bag. Yes, he was. This is what they originally wanted him for. That he got arrested for before they realised then that he was also the bounder of the photocopier who leaves scraps of food. Who clearly is spare a few scraps of food. But here he is wearing his plastic bag. So he decided he would rob a store. Yes, St. Mary's Police Department in Georgia have released surveillance footage of a man who robbed a gaming parlor last Thursday. Gaming parlor. All right, so it's like a GameStop, is it? Is that what this is? Is that what we're looking at? When hipsters go back. It pretty much has a man bun. Yeah, certainly so. So the offender was caught on camera scurrying around the store with his face totally visible through a hole in his plastic disguise. I mean, that was a slight oversight, wasn't it? The see-through nature of your bag should be one of the points that you should consider. Not that we would be condoning any of this kind of behavior, of course, but a plastic bag. Come on now. It's got a blue bit here. Could he not have kind of fashioned it sort of sideways? It had a big blue moustache. That might have been fetching. But no, that was his amazingness. So not only was he the photocopying man, that he was also that. What a delight! I mean, Canada did not disappoint on their first attempt. I've got to say, congratulations, Canada. You have made it into the brilliance of this show. It's great if you've made it here. So yes, there was that one. Moving on slightly, we've got some more delights as we go down to this one, to the frog in your throat. In June, one lucky bidder took home Sir Isaac Newton's meditations on causes and cures for the common plague. The manuscript, which sold for 108,083 and 83. Why would you do that? You round that shit up, wouldn't you? Why is that? Why would 85 at least? I mean, come on, make some effort. I'll put the $2. I'll have a share. That's good. Is believed to have been written shortly after Newton returned to Cambridge after nearly 2 years in self-quarantine to avoid the plague. All other people, whichever sort of comes first. Yeah, I just don't like people that is going to. I'm going for the plague. Yeah, it's all about the plague. The document is unlikely to be of much use during the current pandemic. Oh, it tells you when this was written. However, it does include, among other things, a prescription for driving away disease with lozenges made of mixture of toad vomit and powdered toad. Clearly two different things. Powdered vomit, vomit and powdered toad. I thought, wow. Now I don't know about you, but I just thought YouTube was all about sort of apples and sitting about and being the apple guy. You do all the things that he's done in his life, and that's the guy with the apple, right? Yeah, that's the apple guy, right? All right, okay. So he should have worked for, I don't know, Del Monte or something, shouldn't he? Really? But no. So what wonders there are to find. So as I say, we followed this rabbit hole all the way. We don't shy away. So off we go. We're going to have a look at some of the craziest things that Isaac Newton got up to. Now, this man, of course, thought that Mercury was amazing, as did a lot of people, of course. The Egyptians famously did. So did lots of stuff with Mercury. And towards the end, actually make a frog puke. Well, I believe that the French don't much like custard, so I'd do that to them. I'm not entirely sure. Stick your fingers down your throat, I suppose, is a typical, or get someone unpleasant to kiss it. That would be my recommendations. So yes, he did, of course, go pretty mad, which is kind of strange. You think, how did this guy be so brilliant and so odd at the same time? I mean, brilliance and oddness is what we do here, isn't it? So I've got the cat talking to me over there. He's doing his stuff. He wants to go outside. Anyway. And his peak, of course, he was one of the most rational minds in human history. Well, yeah, we'll see about that, shall we? His was a brain unlike any other, one that allowed him to develop the fundamental laws of gravity and physics, as well as make significant contributions to calculus and math stuff. But in every exceptional mind is an unusual one, yes, and none more so than the mind of Isaac Newton. There's the look. It's like Michael Bolton, isn't it, from the 1600s? I want to know. Did he do that? Did he do that one? I can't remember. I don't know his song. But yeah, he's very, very sexy, wasn't he? There we go. Bolton. Isaac Bolton. Anyway, so where are we? As Newton's life dragging on. Thanks for referring to my life as dragging on. It was fine, thanks. But yeah, life dragged on. His grip on sanity slowly started to slip, and his interest twisted away from the scientific to the mystical. Pretty standard, isn't it? I do think that science is a gateway drug to mysticism sometimes, isn't it? Anyway, Newton wrote 10 million words throughout his life. Most of them at the end of it, wasn't it? His brain was sort of addled by all the mercury poisoning. So yeah, most of that didn't make much sense, did it? The overwhelming majority of the thoughts he put to paper were about alchemy, prophecies, and an ancient mysticism, a strange little-known side to the greatest scientific mind in human history. We do tend to shy away from that, don't they? Oh, love! Thank you so much. Thank you, Lord Mustard. With the game changer, frogs can't puke. They push their entire stomach out of their mouth. Ugh. Thank you so much, Mustard. You are the bestest. Look at this. So really, you won't be. So really, they might be referring to frog puke then as the entirety of their stomach. That's even worse, isn't it? A little bit of puke you can imagine. Okay, you can imagine like a shot maybe of puke, inside a little tiny frog. Little bit of shot of puke. All right, cool. The whole digestive shot of right. Okay, we're not going there. No, thank you. Fantastic work there, Mustard. Gold star, as always. Good man. Thank you. We're going to skip through. So there's a couple of these I want to get to more than others. One, of course, he loves to threaten his mother that she's going to burn her alive, and in fact wrote it. He wrote down all of his confessions in a book, which is a bit silly. So of course we'll get to read all his funny things that he did. So one, of course, he threatened, but he hated his mother for no real reasons. But they describe all these things as his sins. It's quite, it's quite sweet. But the threats to kill, that's a 2.5 year stretch. That is a stretch to kill. Apparently he used to get a bit violent. One time it seems that he asked God for forgiveness for punching his sister, and later going all out and beating a man named Arthur Storer. Poor old Arthur. And then it seems he lost all sense of who he was against, and his sins became more open-ended, striking many and wishing death and hoping it to some. In other words, he went to the bar, got absolutely blasted, and just started on every man he saw. I mean, that's my translation of this stuff, really, isn't it? That's what he did. He was crazy. He thought there was a thing called the Philosopher's Stone. He was actually ahead of the time with Harry Potter. He thought there was a thing called the Philosopher's Stone, which, of course, was a mystical substance that could change base metals like lead into gold. See, alchemy, yes. So, yeah, pretty mental. And he had a recipe written down, which called for sophic mercury, which he seems to have created on his own. But yeah, of course, for years he was inhaling the toxic vapors of mercury. He even drank it. Yeah. He said the taste was strong. I bet it was. That's like saying, oh, yeah, the taste of feces. Well, it's strong. It's strong. You know, that's not a good thing when it comes to it. Yeah, thank you for going there, Mustard. As I poor man, his search history must be colourful now. So it was described as strong, sourish, and ungrateful. An ungrateful taste. Okay, complain on the halfway through. Anyway, something this was the start of his madness. No shit, really. Well, that the mercury in his body contaminated his brain and it drove him insane. Of course, yes. In the 70s, a sample of his hair was analysed and it said 40 times the normal levels of mercury in there. Yes. He predicted the world would end in 2060. I don't know. It's probably, I don't know. I'll go with that. Yeah, okay, I'll take that. Why the hell not? Because he read in the Bible this amazing passage, which I don't even understand myself. The times and a half a time are 42 months or 1,260 days or 3 years and a half, reckoning 12 months to a year and 30 days to a month as was done in the calendar of the primitive year. Yeah, 2060. Yeah. Equals 26. Yeah, okay, cool. Lovely. Easy maths. Yeah, so that's it. So, we've not got long, guys. So, get wish listing, bucketing, or whatever it is. I've been bucketing all my life. Anyway, the Catholic Church, the beast, it's like a 11-horned beast is going to come. That's when it kind of, you think, okay, 2060, okay, we might believe maybe some floods. We're scared of lots of stuff going on, right? Yes, an 11-horned monster is due. So, that's sort of like Legend of the Demon Womb, isn't it? If you know what I'm talking about there. Yeah, there you go. One of the other things, of course, he thought there was magical properties of menstrual blood. Fantastic. Yes. He particularly said that alchemy was such a secretive business that most alchemists wrote it in code and believed that the menstrual blood of the sordid whore was a code that referred to something else. I bet it wasn't. After all, things called for the Green Lion. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Is that a bit? Apparently, the menstrual blood might have been code for metallic antimony. Yeah, great. Anyway, so he was also looking for an emerald tablet that would make him live forever. King Solomon's amazingness, and what I didn't know, maybe you might be interested to find out too. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just mental people. Yeah, absolutely. I'm 100% with you there. It's history is a colourful place. And it's all the crazy people that make it. That's why we got to do what we do, ladies and gents. Yeah. Anyway, so where are we going? So it was actually Isaac Newton that came up with the 7 colours of rainbow. And interestingly enough, it's a lot like the McNuggets. Do you remember there's 5 shapes of McNuggets? Is there 3? How is it? 3, 4? How many? There's a set of shapes of McNugget. And they asked McDonald's, why are there these 4 or 5 different shapes? And they said, well, if there was 3, it'd be weird. And if there was 5, that would also be strange. Okay, fine. So the reason we have these 7 colours is just as fantastic. So if you've ever thought that one of those colours is not like the others, one of these things, that was like Sesame Street. You know, they did that. You aren't wrong. Indigo, you weirdo. Indigo today is generally accepted to be fairly pointless addition to the why we like indigo. Okay, purple, indigo is, but it's saying like lilac and purple are different. They aren't different. They are. Lilac and purple are totally different. Rah rah Team Lilac or whatever it is. Actually, no, that's probably something else, isn't it? Yeah, I'd probably signed up to some sort of alphabet people club if I did that, wouldn't you? Anyway, Newton slipped it in. Oh yeah. Though purely for the sake of giving the rainbow 7 colours, because in Newton's mind, the number 7 was holy. Okay. No idea why. Newton was following the old mystical belief. Oh, there we go. That the number 7 was part of the spirit of everything. I was born on the 7th. Yeah. Maybe I got a spirit of everything. That also sounds terrible. It's a number, after all, that shows up all over the Bible. I know, every 7 pages. It's written down. Can you believe it? Every 10 pages. That was nearly a joke. That was nearly a joke if I got my maths right? It's a number that, after all, shows up all over the Bible. God created the world in 7 days. Well, okay, yeah. Joseph predicted the 7th famine. Okay. Jesus fed the people with 7 loaves of bread. And the apocalypse is heralded with 7 seals and 7 trumpets. Oh, there you go. Well, Newton slipped into the list. Convinced of God's creation should work off the mystical number 7. And so, therefore, there should be 7. There you go. Yeah. Now, this next one did leave me on a little track, so bear with me on this one. It is because he predicted or talked about the fate of Atlantis. Now, this one is actually more true than they knew when this article was written. Now, he goes on about a place, of course, called, or what was referred to as Atlantis. After analysing the work of Plato and Homer and trying to figure out where the sunken city was hiding. Now, let's continue just quick on this one. He even had dates and everything based on his calculations. It must have sunk somewhere in the 1796 because Ulysses landed there in 896, meaning that at the time, Calypso would believed to be 900 years old. Oh, only had a mental barrier. There you go. Spoiler. So, of course, that leads us to what was then what is called the Richot structure. I don't know if you've seen, there's a Joe Rogan where they go into way more detail than this recently. But yeah, it is this thing that they're now thinking is probably likely to be Atlantis because of this place and all this sorts of stuff. So I thought, okay, cool, let's go have a look. Here it is. Look at that. That's a hell of a structure. So I thought, well, let's go have a look at it on Google Maps. I went here. I was like, well, that's a bit crap, isn't it? And I thought, well, there's nothing really to see. And then I zoomed out, and oh my God, this thing is on our planet. And what we didn't like, it's there. Look, it's massive. This is Africa. Look at that. That's fucking huge. That thing there. No wonder I couldn't find it when I was only I don't know 800 meters above the surface. Yeah, there it is. So of course they're saying that this perhaps is Atlanta. NASA and people are saying, well, actually no, it was a volcano. Sort of rose up and then it sort of collapsed, and then a slightly smaller volcano rose and collapsed and then repeated that, and it got this wibbly wobbly effect. Other people are saying, no, it's one of the greatest and largest civilizations ever, or is not the greatest and largest civilization ever. And so there it is. Isn't it interesting that the one of those 10 things that old Newton spoke about could actually be actually right. So, broken clock is right twice a day, as they say. And there it is. Yes, amazing. Look at that. Just look at the size of that. I'm not going to pretend like I know anything, but I know where Nigeria is. Obviously, this is Algeria, but look at it. It's massive. You would just put that in England, they'd moan about it. Put a parking ticket on it and tell you he'll have the same problems, and then sell it to the French. Anyway, yeah, there you go. That's where I am. So there you are. That's the amazing. Now, I did want to go somewhere else from there. And continue the news. But we'll do the last one of that one, shall we? Oh yes, no, he went mad. Good job. Well done. Well done, Einstein. So let's do one more story from this list on here. And I quite like this one. It is I Can Believe I Can Fly is this one. On 3 occasions this last summer, Songshan Airport in downtown Taipei. Oh, hello. Here we are. It's 40 kilometers across or 25 miles. It can be seen from space, was discovered by astronauts. Yes. Isn't that interesting? Yes, it's like it does, doesn't it? It's sort of like a meteor hit, somewhere between a meteor hit and sort of like an anus. Maybe it's the Earth's anus. It's got to go somewhere. Can't hold it in. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, good stuff, you two. Well done. Good information. Where were we? So, back up here quickly. It is, yes, on 3 occasions this past summer, Songshan Airport in downtown Taipei allows 60 passengers the chance to check in, collect their boarding passes, clear security, wait at the gate, and board a China Airways Airbus. The plane's destination? Nowhere. The groups were lucky winners, yes, indeed, of a contest that let them role play at the airport. Yes, and satisfying their nostalgia for a time when air travel was still fun and easy. Never been fun and easy in my mind. Once the passengers boarded, though, their trip came to an anticlimactic end after being greeted by the flight attendants buckling up and sitting on the tarmac. Fantasy travellers deplaned and went home. Yes, these lucky winners. They applied for this. This was the prize, and they still applied. So you get to go sit on an airport, you get to wait in the departure. Now that's glorious. That's everybody's favourite part, isn't it? Yeah, that is mean, isn't it? This is what you could have had if you'd done a proper competition and you did the shit competition and the shit prize. This makes sense, no? Yes, I'm 100% with you. Yeah, so there you go. That was them. Let's do one more. Should we go for one more story? Shall we? Where are we going? I'm gonna go with this one because this one's been sitting on my. I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna change that word as I go, but I'm sure you and I can all read that word because we're grown-ups, right? So I'm gonna leave that there, but I'm gonna do the story anyway because why not? Because why not? Because I think it needs reading out sometimes. This country's a. Yeah. Anyway, so a Met officer who remained in his job, in his king job, after being caught honking his horn on a train, is having his case. Highbrow. I know, isn't it though? Highbrow, monobrow, highbrow, potato, sardines. It's all the same. Yeah, he was giving a warning after following 2018 conviction for outraging public decency. Outraging their decency. I thought it was outrageous public indecency. You're outraging my decency. The case is among 1,100 filed from the past 10 years being reviewed by the Met. Blimey. The House's the Commons Home Affairs Committee heard on Wednesday. Lisa Linden, Deputy Mayor for Policing and Crime in London, said, "Fuck me, I've got a massive job ahead of me. What have you lot been up to?" But also she said, unacceptable. Could have said what I said. She should have said what I said. The force is carrying out a review of cases where officers and staff have been accused of domestic DV and SO, but remained with the force. Committee chairwoman, it's always grubby. You bunch of wankers. See, I can imagine you saying that with a delightful British accent. Massive job. See, that's it. We're all children together here, aren't we? Good job. He's still serving, as I understand it. That officer is still in post, though he is not in a position where he's front-facing with the public. Yes, you took him out the back. Don't know what he's going to do in front of the guests. Hide him out. So he's hidden out the back now, which is... I wouldn't want him there either, frankly, out the back. Grubby little hands and stuff. So that decision was made in the previous regime, and its current leadership have made it very clear that the decision would not have undertaken had the present leadership been at the Met Police. What did they just sack him then? Sack him. Okay, do you know what? No, you're bringing the whole career into disrepute. Just sack the guy. Surely you can do that. Concerns have been raised. That's not the only thing that was gotten raised. About the indecent exposure as a potential gateway to more serious crimes. And then it mentions one that's particularly terrible. That is the state of the British bloody policing system. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? I do believe that was the last thing. I was going to show you this amazing super giant bug that's been found in Vietnam. Oh, hello, JG. A pleasure to see you. I've not seen you in a while. Hello to you. Good day and everything. Yes, I was going to tell you about the superbug that's claimed looks a lot like Darth Vader. Where is he? No, it's not there. I was going to tell you about that, but I seem to have run out of time today. And also the divorce. Actually, let's do this one quickly, shall we? Oh, hit that like. Good job. You guys always remember. Yeah, hit the like button, please, and thank you. Good job. So let's do this one before we go. It is my husband wants to divorce me over what I did at a brunch event. Right? Is it divorceable, ladies and gentlemen? Right? We, the jury, will tell you if this is divorceable. The woman is heartbroken after her husband said he felt disrespected and embarrassed enough to want to get divorced following her actions at a lively brunch where her friend was hosting. Okay. So a woman has been threatened with divorce, and her husband was furious. The 30-year-old woman went to the event, which is being hosted by a friend, with her husband, 31, in tow. The event was lively and included entertainment, music, and a range of performances. Delightful. The entertainment eventually progressed into salsa performance, with the dancers then involving the crowd. She was then approached by a male dancer and asked if she wanted to dance, and she obliged. Oh dear, I see where we're going. The woman thought it would be light-hearted fun. Didn't realise it would involve him carrying her, swinging her about, and dipping. Well, a bit of dipping in public. He was dipping her as part of the salsa. It was part of the salsa. Well, and dip. Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, I see. Their joke's much cleaner than mine. But it was very brief. Yes. She just went along with it because she didn't want to be rude and cause a scene. Oh, it was terribly polite. I don't want to cause a scene. Well, was this dipped my salsa on stage? Was booze? Booze was involved. This was booze central here, don't you? Absolutely. Oh, I just remember what the last story was. I'll get to that. Anyway, so after finishing, she sat back down with her husband and noticed he looked visibly angry, but he remained quiet. Oh, he did the passive-aggressive thing, didn't he? Oh, he passive-aggressive her to death until later that night. Until he then told her that he was embarrassed in front of everyone and completely disrespected him by dancing with another man. Jealousy. I'm going with jealousy. But also, you would have thought that she would know. I mean, she's married to this guy, whatever. Surely she would know he's going to act like a twat if she does. And as much as you want to and do all that, if you've got a dickhead for a man, then you're going to have to avoid doing dickhead pissing off things. That is kind of the choice you make. You stay with a dickhead, you put up with the dickhead shit, right? I mean, that's kind of the price you pay, right? Is he loaded? Is this what it is? Was it in Dubai on a delightful holiday? We don't know. But anyway. He claimed this proved she didn't truly know him or care about his feelings. He was so upset. Well, I don't know. I'm thinking he's an arse myself. Do please feel free to disagree if I'm just been horrible to this man and I'm not seeing the clear picture. So he went and then moaned about it on Reddit, which is the solution to everything. To me, it was an innocent interaction, she says. Wine. Yeah, see, I'm with you. Yeah, wine. Absolutely. Two moments. I didn't think accepting a dance during a public performance would be such a big deal. It never meant to her to disrespect him. I bet she didn't. I now feel conflicted. While I think his reaction is extreme, yes, absolutely. I also don't want to invalidate his feelings. You want him to sort of cauterize some of those feelings, don't you? Really, frankly, man up a little bit, grow yourself some balls. I think that is the message for this man. Yeah. Thinking, let him go. She sought advice from others on the social media platform. Of course she does, sensible thing to do. Thousands of people were keen to share her thoughts. One person said, you don't throw that around or use that to threaten a marriage. If you're saying divorce is a threat, then you're not emotionally mature enough to be in a marriage. Okay, fair enough. Either way, once it's said, you can't take that shit back. Yeah, actually, I'm with you. I think dude's an arsehole and we don't like him. Good job. Last story, and it is the one I put on the thumbnail. So I bet I'm going to jump to it. And it is one last one. We love to end with an animal, right? It is the snuggly duckling. A 33-year-old Betsy Ross. You can imagine Betsy. She's probably quite nice, isn't she? I was thinking of the Golden Girls when you hear something like that, don't you? Was in the park in Visalia, California, with her family when they found a Muscovy duck's nest. All the eggs were smashed except one, which Ross's children begged her to save. On instinct, she popped it into her sports bra to keep it safe. Well, you see, I like that as an instinct. Put it in there, but there's quite a lot of stuff going on in there already, isn't it? But I've seen many women pull many things. This is just an extension of a handbag, a bra. A lot of the times, is it? Wait, can I have a cigarette? Oh yes, got my fags, got the lighter, bottle opener, mobile phone. Yeah, there you go. I've got a driving license. His Jeep that drives us home. I've seen amazing things produced from boobs. So really, I suppose an egg, no difference. So that was where it lived. After some research, Ross decided it was the best option to leave the egg pressed against the body, and she nestled it for 30 days. Bless her. Placing baggies of warm water on her chest to raise the incubation temperature. And eventually the duck began to peep. And after a difficult hatching, bless it, the bird survived and bonded with Ross. So she fashioned a carrier out of it, out of a headband, which is completely missing the point, isn't it? Softly, well, absolutely softly. Everybody would love to snuggle up on a big pair of boobies, don't they? Just like a cushion size, big. But why don't we just have a big cleavage there? Well, it kind of is, isn't it? Settle. Why not? That'd be fantastic. So anyway, she made a carrier for it out of a headband. Why not bra? It should have made it out of a bra. Surely, is that not the obvious thing to do? And then she went, I'm not giving her a bra. Have you seen the price of bra? Bloody hell, I'm not giving it to the duck. And then they got all attached and close and all this sorts of delightful stuff. But she's since moved the duck to a farm. He needs a place where he would be happy, says Susanna. You can imagine the duck reminiscing of boobs. Oh, I remember I had a pair of boobs once. Bloody river. I mean, river, lovely. You float about on that, right? You can kind of wobble about. It's probably quite comfortable. But it's just not boobs. Just not boobs. Right, on that delightful note, I'm going to leave you to it. I need to rush off. I'm a little bit behind schedule now. I've talked for too long. Thank you for joining me today. For those that did, a pleasure to see you. It is, of course, going to be going out on the other channel from next week. Link below, as you can see it there. Look at that. Isn't it delightful? The channel does exist. I have a whole subscriber right now, which is myself. So I'm going to put all these out, and then I'm going to collate sort of highlights of everything onto a single video for the main channel once a week, just for YouTube stuff. So do please come over and join me. We'll put when I do it, I'll send a link out on the main channel anyway, just to remind people where it is. But there it is. That's where we are. It exists in everything. So I better go, and I bid you the nicest of possible wonderful days. Thank you so much. Do be blessed and all that kind of delightful things. I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow for the last one this week. Of course, the big is it tomorrow? Yes, it's Bloody Friday, isn't it? So I'll see you tomorrow on the new channel, which will be delightful for us all, I'm sure. Until I see you again. God, lovely that day. Exactly. Right, until I see you again, do please stay beautiful, love to my free, and you take care of yourself.